I am Dracula. I bid you welcome.
It's alive!
Listen to them. Children of the night. What music they make.
Google gobble, Google gobble.
We belong dead.
Have a potato.
Welcome to this episode of The Good, the Bad and the Universal. We're your hosts Mark and Sam. This is episode number 7 of this run, and today we'll be talking about Bride of Frankenstein. Hi Sam.
Hey.
Okay, Bride of Frankenstein, sequel to 1931's Frankenstein, made 4 years later. 4 years seems like an awful long time to wait to do a sequel to this.
Yeah.
Apparently, when James Whale was drafted in, he did not like a lot of the scripts that were presented. There was like scripts called things like The Further Adventures of Frankenstein and The Return of Frankenstein, things like that. And it was only, I think, about the fourth script, one of the writers picked up a bit, one of the plot threads from the original novel about Frankenstein being coerced by the monster to create a bride for him, or a female companion for him, and they teased out that strand of the plot and developed it into this film. Right. Had first impressions?
This is a pretty good film.
Pretty damn good. It's kind of grown in reputation as the years has gone by. I think at the time it was a bit mixed, but there were definitely some reviewers at the time that said this is a fantastic film. This is a rare film which demands you compliment the director and the cinematographer and the lighting crew and the music as well as the actors.
Yeah.
That sort of thing really wasn't paid attention to much in the early days of cinema, apart from real standouts like, say, the Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, or Nosferatu, where the cinematography was exemplary. So, would you think that's fair?
Yeah, I'd say there's quite a lot of really good shots. It's like half of the film is one of those every frame's a masterpiece sort of thing.
Yeah, there are some magnificent
particularly when they're making the bride.
Yes. And the bride herself was amazing, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone knows the bride, but that must have been really stunning. Her whole look is marvellous. But we'll come to that towards the end, actually. Right, so the return of Colin Clive as Frankenstein and Boris Karloff as the monster. How do you think they did?
They did pretty well. I think it was in... I did notice that his face was sort of fuller, because I know he had... I think it was in that Mark Gatiss documentary that we watched, where you know the one.
Yeah, the documentary
where he mentioned that
Karloff.
Yeah, Karloff had some part of his jaw was removable or something.
Dentures.
Dentures. That's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
And he'd take him out to play the monster, because it would look more gaunt. And
he definitely looked more gaunt in the first film.
Yeah, he looked a bit bulkier in this one, which, I mean, I guess he's a bit more looked after in this one. He's had time to sort of grow.
Possibly, that's the way to explain it, but I think it was more like because Karloff was talking, he'd want his dentures in, which kind of would make sense. I thought Karloff was one who pushed for sort of dialogue, but apparently he didn't. I was wrong. He actually really thought making the creature talk was a bad idea. He thought the lack of vocabulary was important to the creature, but I think he was wrong, actually. I think this worked really well. They kept his vocabulary very simple, didn't they?
Yeah.
But he still had some quite profound lines like hate living, love dead, and things like that.
Yeah.
Things like that. Friend, all this kind of stuff.
He was weirdly high pitched, like half the time.
Yeah. A lot of growling too.
Yeah.
We got some new characters in this. The wife was played by a different actress, but we also got Una O'Connor as like the house frau, and the screechy lady from Invisible Man, in fact. But she was kind of fun.
Yeah.
She wasn't quite as annoying in this as she was in Invisible Man.
It's just she was so huffy about everything. It's like, oh, no one believes me about the monster. I won't say a thing then.
Yes. And we also get Dr. Pretorius.
Yes.
What do you think of Dr. Pretorius?
Well, he kind of fits that description I gave you that the director wanted.
Yeah, go on then. Tell us again.
An over-the-top caricature of a bitchy and aging homosexual.
Yeah, he was a magnificent character in my opinion. Actually, he was completely pantomime and over the top. I think I said to you he could have been a Batman villain.
Oh, he could have been a 60s Batman villain.
He certainly could. He was like very upright. He had a very distinctive look with his mad hair and his sort of thin, pinched face.
Yeah.
And some of his dialogue was great. And he said, let's make a mate. That would be really interesting. Or something like that. Make a woman. That'd be really... and his whole approach to growing life was from seed. So he had these little miniature people that he'd created.
He's like, this one's from seaweed.
Yeah, he had
all sorts of stuff.
Like
he had a mermaid.
Wow. And a king and a
all
queen.
like 3 inches high sort of thing.
Bizarre. Really good special effects, though.
Yeah,
for the
still
start.
holds up.
A lot of Jesus motifs in this film.
Oh, God, so
too.
many Jesus motifs.
So we had Jesus in an awful lot of shots. And the monster himself was strapped up to look a bit like Jesus
Yeah, he was
at one point.
sort of crucified, but without the nails.
Yeah. Indeed.
I think while he was in the prison, he was sort of held in a cross shape. But
But he escaped from that almost immediately. That was
he walked out the room, he just sort of pulled the binding around his neck off, and it was off.
Now, this film was obviously made with comedy in mind as well as sort of drama. There's lots of funny stuff in it.
Yeah.
In fact, to use an analogy, I think of this as a bit like Frankenstein and Bride of Frankenstein has a similar relationship to The Evil Dead and The Evil Dead 2.
Yeah.
And the Evil Dead 2 is like an amplification and a parody almost of the first one, and it takes a comic turn. And this does much the same. It's kind of a parody, and it's kind of it's better than in many ways it's better than the first one, but it's also got a lot of comedy in it. And every time you watch, I know you've only seen it once, but every time you watch it, you see something different.
Yeah,
it's one of those kind of films.
I can imagine that.
And there's lots of.
It's even got like the short recap at the start.
And they did do a course, which was some of the best bits. With
Lord
Fritz.
Byron.
Oh, and there was also that Lord Byron stuff at the beginning. It was mad. Elsa Lanchester playing Mary Shelley as well, looking very striking. Woman. And she's very striking as the bride too.
Yeah,
wife of Charles Lawton as well, who was a very famous actor at the time, and part of that Hollywood British clique, I think, well known to well. So it starts off direct. It is a direct sequel. It starts off straight after the end.
It starts off with villagers standing around the burning windmill.
Yeah, and we see the bloke whose daughter died in the first one, and his wife kind of he has to go and see the burnt bones of the monsters. It's a very dark bit. Basically, the monster kills them both, which is kind of grim way to start things, and then the monster goes lumbering off. We also get the famous, because it's in Young Frankenstein. I think a lot of people think the bit with the blind hermit is in the first film, but it's actually in Bride of Frankenstein, and we get that whole sequence with the blind hermit, which is very Jesus-y again, isn't it? Oh, you've come to save me. We will save each other. All this business, and then a couple of hunters turn up.
Set fire to his house.
There's fire and all sorts. But I do like the bit where Pretorius is robbing graves with a couple of graves.
He's just like completely overjoyed at the concept of doing it.
They find his young lady, but she's rotted to the bones, but he still wants the bones for his experiment.
Yeah, because his whole thing is instead of putting something together, he grows it.
Yeah, it's very odd. But then he decides to stay in the crypt because he likes it. He says, "I rather like it here."
Yeah,
and
then he whips out a small lunch.
Yeah, he's got meat and wine.
Yeah,
and then the monster comes out. And he's not phased at all, is he?
Yeah, cigars. He's like, "Oh, come and join me."
Smell good. And he basically takes the monster under his wing.
Yeah.
And,
The monster kind of becomes his enforcer.
Kind of. Yes, he does. I'm trying to think. Well, there's a few other characters. The wife, like I said, the wife was played by a different woman. She wasn't a great actress. It was very stagey. I mean, some of the acting was very ropey. It was stagey, wasn't it? But I like Colin Clive as Frankenstein. Apparently, he was a raging alcoholic at this time.
Oh, okay.
And they asked Whale to fire him, but Whale said, "No, I want that element of hysteria that he brings. I want that, rather than replace him, with another actor." And I thought, Colin Clive was fine, actually.
Yeah.
Apparently he was really bad at remembering his lines and stuff like that, but he was good at doing hysterical, so
Yeah. I think that can tie together, because if you're hysterical, you don't really talk that much, so...
Yeah, I guess. We see Dwight Fry again. He was in this one. He's one of the... We see him in flashback as a hunchback, but we also see him as one of the grave robbers.
Yeah, Carl.
Who has to go and get the fresh body, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And he says he's very fresh.
Yeah. No, they don't even need a body. They just need a heart.
That's it. He says he's very fresh.
He's very fresh. Where's it from?
And Pretorius changes the subject.
Yeah. Pretorius charges in as it's a police case.
Now, we both noticed some of the setup kind of suggested that they may have been intending to use Elizabeth's heart at this point. And I've looked into it. Apparently, some authors have suggested, that was in the original script, but others have said, no, it never was. That was never the intention. But it would have been kind of a real shocker if they'd have done that. But I guess that would have completely negated the happy ending again.
Yeah.
I also like... that lab was even more spectacular the second time.
Because now they have this big, tower that comes out of the castle when they lift the body up to be electrified.
And the kites. And I like how mad it got just before they raised the... Because he started going crazy with the Dutch angles.
Yeah.
It was almost like you were on a rocking boat.
Really close zooms to Pretorius and Frankenstein's faces. We had the monster going nuts upstairs for no particular reason.
Yeah. He just started attacking people.
No. He went upstairs to sort of have a look, and then the two grave robbers just attacked him. Yeah,
so he threw one off the ramparts, and that was kind of fun. But that didn't go anywhere. It was just, I'll throw a guy off a ramparts. And then finally we get to the bride, where as soon as we see her, they start playing wedding bells.
Yeah. And Pretorius sort of screams, "The bride of Frankenstein.
She's alive!"
Yeah.
And I also forgotten to say that Una O'Connor at the beginning, he says she screams, "It's alive," in the same way Frankenstein did in the first film. So there's that "it's alive" or "she's alive" that keeps coming up as a kind of motif as well.
There were a lot of replicated shots in this.
Yeah.
There's bits where Pretorius is up close to the bride as she's still bandaged up and she's not been electrified at the moment, and he's sort of explaining what's going on to Frankenstein.
Yeah.
And it's a copy of a shot in the original where it's Frankenstein explaining to Fritz, I think his name was.
Okay, so there's a mirroring. I mean, that shows some sophisticated filmmaking. There was definitely some sophisticated filmmaking going in. And I think Bride of Frankenstein, it's often just commented, it's often just referred to as a great film, but not many people talk about what it brought cinematically, actually, to the sort of film, what would you call it, film language.
Yeah.
There's lots of interesting things. Maybe it didn't do them first or something, but some of the sweeping shots through the big halls are kind of cool.
Yeah.
And I really like the character of Pretorius. He just makes me laugh. I mean, we had Ernest Thesiger in the Old Dark House when we covered that, but I think Pretorius is a step up from that, actually.
He had loads of little goofy quirks, he constantly referred to stuff as his only sin.
It's the only sin, gin, it's my only vice. Cigars, it's my only vice. I like the fact Elizabeth spends the day in her wedding dress, no matter what's going on. So
be fair, she is she starts off on the verge of wedding, then she does get married. Yeah, after that, she changes and gets kidnapped.
Yes.
So
it's a little bit sad.
Can't really blame her for.
Right, so I'm trying to think. There's lots of great things about this film, but it's kind of easier to just go watch than talk about. There's just lots of good. There are flaws in it. It is stagey, and some of the scenes are a bit goofy, but there is so much going on in every scene that it's. The bit where the monster's walking through the graveyard, we get a bit of Jesus. We get the angel of death standing there in like a skull with a cow. This Blu-ray print wasn't quite as good as the first Frankenstein, but it was still pretty damn good as well. So it was worth seeing, definitely. Really enjoyed this, I have to say. This is possibly, until we get through, I won't be sure. This is I think this is probably my favourite Universal film, actually. But we got plenty to get through. And I think the entire Frankenstein series is an interesting one anyway. There's always something interesting in
Was it this one that was Karloff's last one, or was it Ghost of Frankenstein?
No, it wasn't Ghost. Ghost was Lugosi. I'm trying to remember if Karloff played him in Son of Frankenstein. I don't think he did. I think this might have been his last one. If it wasn't, it was Son of Frankenstein.
He was the monster in Son of Frankenstein, and that was his last.
That was his last one. So that's an interesting film. Again, that's almost like films have become more. They've become a bit more mature. So it's almost like a Hollywood. They become more Hollywood at that point. And Son of Frankenstein's the point it becomes most Hollywood in the series. Then they get a bit more genre and cheaper again. But interesting in different ways. So it's kind of it's one of those series that follows. It's a bit like Planet of the Apes or the Alien series. There's always something interesting in one of in the films, but they just do different things, Anyway, Bride of Frankenstein to me seems like the sort of pinnacle of weirdness in the 30s, actually. Though we've seen Freaks, and that was a pinnacle in its own way as well, definitely. I think Bride of Frankenstein's got some real quality to it. Anyway, do you want to rate it?
Yeah, okay.
What would you give it out of 10?
I'd give this a 9.
9. I give it a 10. I recognise it's got flaws, but I just think it's a beautiful film to rewatch. It's got such powerful. It's so rewatchable, and every time you watch it, there's something new in it. So for that reason, I'm going to give it a 10. Now, I did put. Sometimes I put on our Facebook page requests of feedback about what we're going to be covering. I try and do it for everything, but I often forget. But I did do it for Bride of Frankenstein, and here's some of the feedback we got. First bit was Michael Harvey posted, "In a word, perfect. I simply can't fault this." I think that's reasonable.
Yeah.
I think we agree with you there, Michael. And then another. The second post was Anthony Rotolo. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing this, Anthony. You'll have to correct me if I'm wrong. Rotolo. I revisited this about 6 months ago. I was surprised by the amount of humour in it and my mixed feelings about it. I may prefer the first for its sombre tone and drama rather than Wales' self-parody. He prefers the first one.
Understandable.
I wouldn't argue with that. I think the first one's got its own virtues and it's a really good film too.
I'd probably prefer the first one if I went into it thinking it was like a horror film. But I kind of knew it was going to be like goofy.
Well, like I said, these two films kind of mirror The Evil Dead and The Evil Dead 2, and it's kind of what are you in the mood for might determine which one you prefer. I think I'm always. So I really liked the first one. There's no doubt about it. And I think if I had to... the first one really, really delivers. And it comes out of nowhere, as this one, Bride of Frankenstein, builds on it. I don't think you could have Bride of Frankenstein on its own, as the first film. It wouldn't work. It doesn't work that way. But Frankenstein really set the pace for it. Anyway, the third bit of feedback is from Phil Mack, and he says, "It seems kind of dated." I think Phil Mack's pulling our chain a bit there.
Yeah.
It's a bit dated. It's 80 odd years old, so it is a bit dated. So that's our feedback. Thanks for everyone for contributing there.
Exactly 80 years old, actually.
Yes, it is exactly 80 years old. Yeah, 1935, yes. Amazing.
No. Almost literally exactly 8 years
what
ago.
day is it?
April 22nd.
And we are recording this on April the 21st.
Yeah.
How about that? That's amazing, isn't it? That's a coincidence. Actually, I've got my... from one podcast I listened to is Horror, etc. And they did this really cool calendar. And yeah, you're quite right. On their calendar, it says 22nd of April, Bride of Frankenstein. If you want to know what today's was, 21st, it was 1989, Pet Sematary.
Oh, okay.
Bride of Frankenstein's a bit more prestigious, really.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Though also having a guy play the Frankenstein's monster in it.
That's right, Clancy Brown did. Nice catch. In The Bride, actually, as well. Which is another kind of Frankenstein film entirely. Though, I have to say, Clancy Brown was a great Frankenstein's monster.
I was talking about Fred Gwynn.
Oh, yeah, sorry, yeah. Clancy Brown was in Pet Sematary 2.
Yeah.
Which is a completely bananas film. Sorry, you're right. Fred Gwynn, yes. Man, all these connections, that's bizarre, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay then. That's our feedback section over.
Yeah.
Okay, next time, I think we're going to be covering Black Cat, which is an interesting film with Karloff and Bela Lugosi in a very modern setting for a change. It's a very unusual Universal horror film, that one. Anyway, so until next time, bye from me.
Bye.
I bloody love Fred Gwynn.